In today's world, the urban heat island effect impact all around the world to the big cities. Heat islands do not just cause a bit of additional minor discomfort, their higher temperature, lack of shade and role in increasing air pollution have serious effect on human mortality and disease. They waste money by increasing the need for energy use, for building and infrastructure maintenance, for the management of storm wave runoff, and for the disposal of waste. In addition, the barren construction technique that fostered heat islands tend to be unattractive, unappealing, and unhealthy for the urban flora and fauna. Therefore, the big cities have taken necessary precautions to mitigate the urban heat island effect. Let's dig deep into the urban heat island effect. The first documentation of urban heat occurs in 1880 by the amateur meteorologist Mr. Luke Howard. In his groundbreaking study of London's climate found an artificial excess of heat in the city compared with the country. He became the first serious practitioner of urban climatology. Simply, we can say that the urban heat island is a metropolitan area that is a lot warmer than the rural surrounding areas. It is a significant heat difference comparing to the rural areas. In a heat island, we can see the exhibit like hotter air temperature, hotter surface temperature, a larger effect during the clear, calm weather. Temperature is increasing over the time and thermal inversions. When we are talking about the cause of the urban heat island, as a characteristics, we can sort it into 5 main causes of heat island formation. First, reduced evaporation. As the characteristics contributing to the heat island formation, the lack of vegetation and the widespread of the use of impermeable surface can see. Then for the increased heat storage, as the characteristics increased thermal diffusivity of urban materials can take. For the increased net radiation, the low solar reflectance of urban materials, and the urban geometry that trapped heat can take as the chat aerostric contributing to the urban heat island. The reduced convection influence the urban geometries that slow wind speed and increase the level of air pollution as the characteristics. At last, the increased anthropogenic heat shows the increased energy use as the characteristics. According to the energy balance equation, you may get an idea about the cause of the heat island. The energy balance equation is convection plus evaporation plus heat storage equal to anthropogenic heat plus net radiation. Reduced evaporation, increased heat storage, increased net radiation, reduced convection, increased anthropogenic heat. These changes to the energy balance equation can cause the urban heat island.
Let's talk about the effects of urban heat island. Should we care about heat islands? Yes, it is, because their negative impacts affect so many people in so many ways. First, the main consequence is an increase in the temperature in urban areas. The term urban heat island refers to the air temperature in the built-up areas significantly warmer than in the surrounding rural areas. Also, the building can absorb and hold under more solar radiation during the day and given off that heat back into the air from a slow rate at night. The difference between urban and rural air temperatures also called the heat island intensity. This intensity varies throughout the day and night. In the morning, the urban-rural temperature difference is generally at its smallest, and the difference is even more pronounced at night. Heat islands tend to become more intense as cities grow larger, and areas with the least vegetation and greatest development tend to be hottest. Second, urban heat islands caused by cities have altered the natural selection process. Selective pressures like the temporal variation in food predation and water are relaxed, causing a new set of selective forces to roll out. Within urban habitats, insects are more abundant than in rural areas. Also, insects are ectotherms. This means that they depend on the temperature of the environment to control their body temperature, making for the warmer climates of the city perfect for their ability to thrive. That's why we can identify lots of insects in city areas. Third, urban heat islands can produce secondary effects on local meteorology, including the altering of local wind patterns, the development of clouds and fog, the humidity and the rates of precipitation. In a 2003 study in urban heat island, we were shown to do precipitation in a metro area on 37 days over the course of 5 years, which is pretty significant. Another study showed a decrease in freezing rain events by 10 to 30% in a large city like Chicago in New York. Fourth, urban heat islands increase demand for energy consumption. During the higher temperature also mean increased cost for cooling through air conditioners and refrigeration. The increasing energy used for cooling buildings produces more greenhouse gas emissions and air pollutants. These further contribute to global warming and climate change. Fifth, urban heat islands also impair water quality. Hot pavement and rooftop surfaces transfer their excess heat to storm water, which then drains into storm sewers and raises water temperatures as it is released into streams, rivers, ponds, and lakes. Then will insects and fish die and damage their wild habitats. Sixth, urban heat islands have the potential to directly influence the health and welfare of urban residents. Increased temperatures have been reported to cause heat cramps, heat syncope, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. Untreated heat stroke can quickly damage the multiple organs including the brain, lungs, liver, muscles, digestive tracts, and circulatory system. When we talk about London City Hall reported temperatures downtown sometimes 50 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the surrounding rural areas, causing the heat waves. As a result, people are dying. In France, caused the 2019 heat waves, 1,500 people died, and in its history 2003 heat wave, between 30,000 and 70,000 people were estimated to die due to heat exhaustion.
Communities around the world are currently faced with a number of large-scale environmental challenges, including urban heat islands. These challenges stem from cities and our resource-intensive urban lifestyles. Fortunately, an array of concrete solutions to these challenges are already being developed and implemented in cities around the globe. So, we set off an inspirational journey to explore the most innovative ideas, techniques, and initiatives being used by cities today, as they strive to create more livable and sustainable cities. And with the potential to simulate wide-scale change which would set us on the path towards a one-planet future, where humans live in harmony with nature. On a global scale, we can see 3 major urban heat island mitigation strategies that are currently used around the world. Those are 1. Cool roofing, 2. Cool paving, 3. Planting trees and vegetation. Now let's look at them one by one. Cool roofing. A cool roof is a roofing system that delivers higher solar reflectance, the ability to reflect the visible, infrared, and ultraviolet wavelengths of the sun, reducing heat transfer to the building, and higher thermal emittance, the ability to radiate absorbed or non-reflected solar energy than standard designed roofing products. Historically, cool roofs have been either white or some other lighter shade color. The benefits of cool roofing accrue to building occupants, building owners, and the community at large. Benefits include improved building comfort, energy and utility bill savings, reduced roof maintenance, peak electricity demand reductions, reduced levels of air pollution, and less roofing waste to landfills. The replacement of existing roofs with cool roofing can also diminish the heat island effect in our cities and suburbs. As we know, paved surfaces cover large percentages of urban and suburban areas. Pavements contribute to the heat island effect by warming up in the sun and releasing this stored energy to their surroundings during the evening and overnight. So now let's discuss the second strategy, which is cool paving. The cool pavement is a road surface that uses additives to reflect solar radiation, unlike conventional dark pavement. Conventional dark pavements contribute to urban heat islands, as they absorb 80–95% of sunlight and warm the local air. There are 2 ways to make pavements cooler: by increasing their solar reflectance and/or by increasing their ability to store and evaporate water. Cool pavements are made with different materials to increase albedo, thereby reflecting shortwave radiation out of the atmosphere. Increasing albedo reduces heat transfer to the surface and can hypothetically cause local cooling if the spatial scale of the albedo reduction is sufficiently large. The EPA reports that if pavement reflectance throughout a city were increased from 10 to 35%, the air temperature could potentially be reduced by 1 degrees Fahrenheit, 0.6 degrees centigrade. Existing dark pavement can be altered to increase albedo through white topping or by adding reflective coats and seals. New pavement can be constructed to increase albedo by using modified mixes, permeable pavements, and vegetated pavements. Increasing the water storage capability of pavements means making them porous. Water then filters through the rigid top layer and is stored in the soil and supporting layers below. Porous pavements allow water to drain through during rainstorms and evaporate back out during hot, sunny weather. Evaporating water draws heat from the pavement, keeping the pavement cooler in the sun. The use of cool paving materials is to cool the air in urban and suburban areas. But there are other significant benefits of cool paving that may be reaped, including better management of water runoff, increased pavement durability, less need for nighttime lighting, less traffic noise, and the potential for more creative urban design. Now let's discuss the most commonly used strategy around the world, cooling with trees and vegetation. We can use effective landscaping to reduce the heat island, includes the use of shade trees and smaller plants, such as bushes, shrubs, vines, grasses, and ground covers. In fact, trees and vegetation reduce heat islands in two ways. First, they shade buildings, pavement, and people from the sun. This keeps surfaces cooler, reducing the amount of heat transferred to the air above them, and reducing the energy use of buildings below. Shade from trees also keeps people cooler and more comfortable, reduces their risk of heatstroke, and protects them from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Second, during the process of photosynthesis, trees and vegetation use a process called evapotranspiration to keep themselves cool. Plants use the sun's energy to evaporate water, preventing that energy from heating up the city. Air temperatures are cooler within and downwind of well-vegetated areas due to evapotranspiration. Trees and vegetation can also be positioned to shield buildings and spaces from the wind. This effect is most beneficial during the winter. Slower wind speeds around buildings reduce heat loss through the walls and roof, and decrease the amount of cold air that infiltrates through cracks around windows, doors, and joints. Slower winds also make public spaces more comfortable in cold weather. The main benefits that we gain by planting trees are that the trees and vegetation bring many positive benefits to communities, including improving comfort, reducing energy use, removing carbon dioxide, CO2, from the air, decreasing air pollution, and decreasing stormwater runoff. So, it's clear that cities need the support of national politicians and strong policies in order to achieve their real potential and ambitious goals. A combination of both a top-down and bottom-up approach is absolutely necessary and demands a common effort that truly involves city residents. Finally, what we have to say is that leaders in a city do have to approach individuals to make them partners. It cannot be done top-down. People have to embrace these solutions and feel that they are part of a new world.